Hello there, and welcome to the final episode for this series of JD Cooks. We have something very special planned for today. We are going out with a bang. We are going to make my grandmother's world famous, my world anyway, happy birthday ice cream cake. This is a cake that for a number of years, when any of my brothers or myself or my cousins were ever asked, what kind of cake do you want for your birthday, we would always reply, we want one of Grandma's ice cream cakes. And that made my mother ecstatic, because then she was off the hook. So I haven't had one of these in a really long time, but I think I can put it together pretty easily. It's a very easy cake. Your children will love it. And I think you can even get some adults to buy into it too. So that's what we're making. We're making Grandma's ice cream, happy birthday ice cream cake today on JD Cooks. So if you're making my grandmother's world famous happy birthday ice cream cake, first thing of course you're going to need is some ice cream that has been sitting out for about 15 or 20 minutes. You need it to soften up a little bit. We're going to put it back in the freezer later and let it get nice and hard. And then you also need to have cake, 2 round cakes, and even I went and used a cake mix for this occasion. That's what she always did, so that's what I went ahead and did. You can certainly make your own cake if you wanted to do that. But while the cakes are cooling and resting, you need the same size pan you used for the cake. And I actually just took the cakes out, let this cool down, cleaned it out, and I'm ready to use it again. And I've got some parchment paper. You want to line it with something. My grandmother always used wax paper, but I thought, oh, I'll use parchment paper. So I've got a parchment paper round on the bottom, and then I've got these like strips of it. I'm going to put them in here. Oh, this is not working. This might be why my grandmother just used wax paper. So, I'm just in case for that. We actually have wax paper here. I think we're just going to do it her way. Sometimes simplest ways are the best. And we're going to take our wax paper and just push it in. And kind of push it in because it'll make little pleats and stuff, but you're never going to see them in the ice cream, so I guess it won't really matter that much. I'm sure that's what she would tell me. Okay, so once you've got that in there, the next step is to get the ice cream in there. It's sitting out for 15 or 20 minutes. And you just want it all in there, and you want to mash it into the shape of the pan. Actually, I'm going to let it come out on its side, I think. And, obviously it's melting ice cream. You don't want to take too long. And also, if it's too frozen, you may have to leave it out for a few minutes more in order to make it cooperate. Make sure you're getting it pushed out to the edges. We want this to be a circle, an even circle. I'm making a huge mess of this. I should point out to you that I've never done this before, so we're hoping this is going to work out. I'm using the spatula to just push it all into the sides and to really try to even it out. Don't worry, like parts of it are starting to become liquid, which is scaring me, but I know that the way they make ice cream, it'll be okay. You don't want to know, of course, but just trying to get it into a flat disc. Trying to make sure it's as even as possible and nice and smooth. And then it's ready. This has to go back into the freezer for at least 2 hours. We've softened it up a lot, and we need it to really come back and be a nice solid block of ice cream before we go on. So I'm going to put this in the freezer, and then I have some break time until I have to finish. It's been a few hours. We've been bike riding. I have showered. I have changed. Thus the lack of continuity in today's episode. I noticed when the cakes came out, this one especially was what they called domed, which if you look closely, it bubbled up when it baked. And there's a few things you can do about it so that it doesn't happen. I didn't do those things, so I have a domed top. So there's also things you can do about it after. You can take a serrated knife and slice off the top of it. I actually like this. This is a cake leveler, basically. And I'm going to put it, well, actually I do it from the back today. And you just kind of drag it and kind of do a little sawing motion across. It comes all the way through, like so. And then, somehow, I'm not sure how that is, but you just kind of take off the layer, and you get to eat this later. And you have a nice flat surface, and you can actually take this down. You can also use these to split cakes in halves and things like that. But that gives me a slightly better base upon which to work. First thing I'm going to do is peel this out and see if Grandma's wax paper technique worked better than my thumb. Alright. And of course we're working quickly because this is ice cream and it's very cold. And I would be willing to bet that my dear grandmother would have probably turned this upside down right on top like so. So she would stop touching it and melting it. And kind of give yourself a better grabbing spot. Peel carefully. It's moving. It's alright. There we go. Just kind of place it right on top. All that's left now is to frost it. And I love my grandmother. She used dessert topping to frost it. And I think there's actually some sense to this because real frosting in the freezer would be really hard to slice. It wouldn't really taste like anything. And so dessert topping actually freezes kind of nicely. You can still slice it. So we're not going to break with the tradition. We're going to get the dessert topping on there. Dessert topping is like 1,000 times easier to use when frosting a cake than actual frosting. I have a feeling my grandmother knew that too. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rest of these cookie crumbs all over it. There you go. It has to go right back into the freezer. It stays there until you eat it. And if there's any left, then it needs to go right back into the freezer as well. And if I have the wherewithal, I could probably take the rest of the cookie crumbs and pat them on the side, but that's a lot of trouble, and one of the things I know she would not approve of is making something this simple and this delicious a lot of trouble. So we'll think about it. But anyway, this is my grandmother's happy birthday ice cream cake. Okay, so we've got Grandma's ice cream cake here. We have the kind of people that Grandma would want to have her ice cream cake here. We're going to cut into it and see what happens. I don't know, did anybody want any cake?
Me.
Oh, alright, I was just making sure, So down we go. Put it here. Let's see. There we go.
Can I have the smallest piece?
You can have the smallest piece. Alright, so here we go. Come on. Ooh. There we go.
Oh, he's
Okay, so there we go. This is my grandmother's ice cream, happy birthday ice cream cake, even though anybody's birthday? Anybody? Everybody, it's everybody's birthday here. So we have a lot of birthdays that we're going to be celebrating. I hope you feel like celebrating this cake. This one's for Grandma. And we'll see you next time. We're going to take about a month off, so don't be looking for us too soon. But we'll be back before too much longer. All right, and we'll see you next time on JD Cooks.